Well, here we are again, people. It is another Thursday, but it is the final Thursday of 2023. I am Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master. This is your alternative to the crappy BBC, but this is the Bullish Bitcoin channel. So if you're finding this channel for the first time, welcome. For those of you that are just tuning in that are regulars, welcome. Wherever you're coming in from, today is the 28th of December, 2023, and have I got a show for you guys? Hopefully you'll get something from it. Okay, preliminaries as I always do. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you recharged your batteries. I hope you spent some time with your loved ones. But now you need to get refocused because 2024 is just around the corner. And I believe, and it's only a personal opinion, that all hell is going to break loose in 2024 in a good way. But we will talk about that. Preliminaries, if I may. No financial advice. Don't come looking for it. You're not going to find it here. If you want to check out over 600 videos I've done since I started live streaming, then go to UKBitcoinMaster.com. Excuse me. And if you want to check out the interviews that I've done so far, go to BitcoinInterviews.com. And last but not least, on this screen, I keep beating the drum. I've beat this drum throughout 2023, and I will continue in 2024. And that is, if you have your coins on an exchange, you don't own them. You may think you do, but you don't. So get them off exchanges, people. Into self-custody is my strong advice. Lastly here, you need to go to the show notes, take some personal responsibility. Go down to the show notes, click on the Linktree link that will take you here, and I would encourage you to follow me somewhere else, because whilst everything seems settled at the moment, none of us know when our channel may disappear. I know a lot of leading Bitcoiners fear that one day their channel might be taken down for no reason. I've had personal experience of that. So has BitcoinMeister in the chat. And it's a nightmare, excuse me, to get Google to get your channel back up, because they run on algorithms. Even though you've said nothing wrong, even though you've said nothing controversial, they take it down, and it's an absolute disaster stroke train wreck to try and get your channel back. So if that were to happen, if you went and followed me at UK Bitcoiner, that is my backup channel, which is in these links on that link tree in the show notes. I could then literally move my streaming software across and continue live streaming there, and you would then be notified because you have followed me. Now, you won't get any notifications from that channel because it's simply a backup channel, and it literally is dormant. But it is there in waiting should YouTube go and do something stupid, as they always seem to do. So check these out. The link is in the show notes. Also, if you're not on the Orange Pill app, I would encourage you to go check it out, people, and get yourself 10,000 free sats using my link. A lot of the big name Bitcoiners are on there because they understand the importance of building the social layer, which becomes the fabric that holds this all together, because ultimately Bitcoin is about people, and we need to all collectively build on something that, for me, I think is absolutely fantastic. So use my link in the show notes, get yourself 10,000 free sats, even if you just sign up for a 1-month trial to see what it is like. I'm amazed at how many people sign up, reach out to me and say, hey, listen, I've got an Orange Pill app, great to connect with you. And I always go back and connect with those people. And once you've connected with somebody on the Orange Pill app, that is it. It is an open channel, and you guys can talk with each other, as I do with many Bitcoiners. Okay, so back to me, as I always do for the last show of 2023. Oh, by the way, do you like the new t-shirt? This is the new Boss t-shirt. And again, shout out to my lovely wife, Elaine, Mrs. UK, who's in the chat, who never lets me down at Christmas time. There is always a new t-shirt or something for the show. So my new one, love it, Bitcoin boss. That's who I am. Only kidding, people. Right, so let's have a look in the chat, see who we've got. Mr. 60, Reading born and bred in the queue. Whether you're still with us now, Mr. 60, it was great that you did join us. Hopefully you are here now from another born and bred Reading person. Don't live anywhere near there now. BitcoinMaster coming in from Utah, Salt Lake City. Adam, always a pleasure to have you in the chat. John G, UK. Paul, hello to you. Johnny Midas coming in from the desert. Uncle Hodler, we have Arizona in the house. JB Bitcoiner is with us. Elaine, Mrs. UK, my great support and lovely wife. Vinny Rondo, Staten Island is with us. Chaz Oid is in the house. Barefoot Barry coming in from New Zealand. Matthew Underhill from the Bitcoin book. Check out the Bitcoin book. I will give you another shout out, Matt, coming up soon. I keep forgetting, but I will give you a shout out. But if you're British and you want a British book on Bitcoin, go to Amazon and check out the Bitcoin book. Absolutely superb. Got it myself. Who else? Who else have I seen? UK Bitcoin Farmer. Wow. You must be quiet. Good to see you joining us live as always. That's my nephew, by the way. Give a shout out to UK Bitcoin Farmer. Okay, so I want to get on with the show. If you want to get my attention, type in UK Bitcoin Master, then a message. It will light up in orange, and I'll gladly take a read of it and give you a shout out. Now, I will preempt this. I have an awesome video clip at the end of the show, as I always do. But when I was setting the show up, for some reason, it was just literally running at 100 miles an hour with no sound and clicking off. Now, I think I've got it working again, but I'm just preempting. If it goes wrong at the end of the show, I did forewarn you. After all, people, this is live. It is not something that I can play around with, edit something out, add something in. That is why I love going live, which also means things go wrong. So don't forget, pound the like button for UK Bitcoin Master going live. Smash it. Retweet the show. If you're listening on the podcast, come and join us on YouTube sometime. Then you'll get to see the graphics that I show. Jason Jones, good to see you. Qatar in the house. Great to have you. Don't forget, smash the like button, people. Okay, so what I want to do is get on with the show. But the show is very much to kick it all off, me talking to you guys. Mr. 60, good to see you. Yeah, fantastic. So I want to talk to you about the thumbnail, and the thumbnail is the Bitcoin Trifecta. Now, I didn't have the heck what a trifecta was until the great Rocky Palumbo, who's always in our chat and part of our unique exclusive 21 million club, started explaining what it was. But I want you to think about something for a moment. When I got into Bitcoin in May of 2017, I mean, all the headlines were negative. There was nothing positive coming out. Banks are never, ever going to custody Bitcoin. You know, Jamie Dimon coming out and saying if any of my employees are caught, you know, with Bitcoin, they'll be fired. And then his daughter shouts at him, Dad, I've got Bitcoin. You know, it literally was, you know, what's his name? The old boy. Oh dear. Warren Buffett. Rat poison squared. His daft, you know, co-partner who's just sadly passed, Charlie Munger, slamming Bitcoin. You know, no intrinsic value and what a load of baloney. They ought to ban it. Blah 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 blah. Point. Time has to move on. But everybody wants time to go quickly in terms of number go up, because most regular people, you know, everyone wants a little bit more money, maybe pay off their mortgage, maybe have a better life, leave a legacy for their loved ones, whatever it might be. And everybody wants things to happen quickly. But here we are, 6 years, where are we? May 17 to May 23. For me, 6.5 years later, and all of a sudden, everything is coming together. Now, I am sure you've heard on many other shows, everyone talking about this price prediction, that's going to happen, this is going to happen, the ETFs are going to be approved. Look, I'm just here to say, maybe it will be approved, maybe it won't be approved. Maybe we'll go to 250,000 and upwards, maybe we won't. No price predictions here, remember. I'm just literally wearing my heart on my sleeve, and what's in my head, I'm talking to a camera. That is it. Okay. So I don't make any price prediction claims. Not interested in any of that stuff. But here's what I do see. All of a sudden now, and I remember when I first got into Bitcoin in 2017, I heard about this word called ETF, and I'm going to be honest, no financial background. I did not know. Rocky Palumbo, good to see you. Kickstone Bitcoin, good to see you. What's happening, dude? Yeah, good to have you here. Pound the like button. I didn't have a clue what ETF was. I didn't know what the block size wars were. I had to learn about them. There's that personal responsibility, get out there and learning. I had to learn about this stuff. But I heard, that ETF won't be approved. I think it was Van Eck, I believe. That won't be approved. And of course it didn't. And then the next year that won't be approved, and it didn't. And the next year that won't be approved, and it didn't. So we've gone through the last 6.5 years in this battle with the narratives that the media want to spin on Bitcoin, obviously, plus a bear market going on as well. And, all the negativity around Bitcoin's done, it's finished, etc., etc. But here we are all of a sudden. And I remember it, I don't know whether it was a couple of years ago, maybe, whoa, big news. China have kicked out Bitcoin. China have banned Bitcoin. That's it. It's going to zero. And you know what? If you look at the hash rate, it took a tumble. It took a knock of 50%. And then I started listening to the people that I would trust over anyone, not putting people on pedestals. But if we're in Bitcoin, we want to get pure signal. Okay? And the purest signal I could find was Michael Saylor. Love him or hate him, love him or loathe him. It doesn't matter. He's put his money where his mouth is as a billionaire. The only one really to do it for his company, So I started checking out his mining council. This was all, Bitcoin's for libertarians, Bitcoin's for freedom. We're not interested in mining councils. I remember all that conversation going on as well. But for me personally, I don't care what you lot do. For me, I wanted to know what that mining council was saying. And there was one guy on there that simply said, look, the hash rate has took a plummet because of what happened in China. But mark my words, once those miners leave China, that takes time, pack up your rigs, leave, get it all shipped out, wherever they're going, Kazakhstan, Dallas or Texas, wherever it was, that would take time. And then he said, and then the hash rate will rebound. Go and look at what happened with the hash rate and how it had a V-shaped recovery, which said to me, I've got nothing to worry about here. So we had that going on. We had then everything that started to happen. If I fast forward then to, 2021's high, and then the crash of 22, and then, it started off with, everything collapsing. I think Do Kwon, I believe, was the first. I think you had scam banks defraud of the FTX. You had BlockFi, Celsius, Kraken had a massive fine. Some banks were failing. Some had to be bailed out. If you don't think that has an effect on the overall adoption in terms of rocking this tiny little asset around, what planet are you on? It is bound to do that. But I've always been confident that over time, this thing will start to rebound backwards in an upwards direction. I was always confident in that. I've never not been confident in that. And that is why I wanted to do this show. And I want you all to sort of zoom out a little bit and start looking at what's now happening. Okay? Not only did we have all of that before I move on, CZ from Binance has gone. Who'd have believed that? You've now just heard, and I haven't corroborated it, but it seems to be out there that, Barry Silbert from Grayscale has now moved out as CEO or resigned as CEO or whatever you want to call it. I saw something yesterday that talked about, China and Saudi Arabia have ditched the dollar for some 50 billion oil trade deal and have done it in Chinese yuan because they want to get away from the dollar. So all of this, plus now it's looking likely that an ETF or a bunch of ETFs are going to be approved at some point in January. And again, I say, I don't care if they will or they won't. Bitcoin is going to march on TikTok, next block, regardless of these ETFs. But for those interested in number go up, that is going to drive the price of your investment up. So if that's what you want, fantastic, awesome. I want my investment to go up, but I am also in this to leave a better world for my descendants when I'm not here, away from tyranny, away from control, surveillance. I want my descendants to at least have the option of breaking free from all of that. Now, whether they choose to listen to me or whether they don't, and then they squander what I leave behind, I won't be here, so I won't know about it. But here's a thought for you. I've been beating the drum with my daughters ever since I got into Bitcoin about you need to sit down with me and you need to allow me to teach you about the asset I own, what happens to that asset if I suddenly die, or when I die, when we die, how you would access it, etc. And my daughters, and I love them with all my heart, and I've always said, yeah, we'll, Dad, yeah, we will, Dad, yeah, we will, Dad, and it's yeah, we will, and never did. And all of a sudden, this Christmas, my youngest daughter said to me, and I quote, I'm going to come and see you in January, spend an afternoon with you, and I want you to teach me the basics about all of this that I need to understand. And for me, it was like, whoa, get in there. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely made up, and I'm going to do that with my youngest daughter. So if I go back over to the desktop, what you're seeing here is news articles like this. Troubled economies turn to Bitcoin, sparking a rally in the local trading pairs. It says, from Argentina to Nigeria, Bitcoin trading pairs surge against troubled fiat currencies. So it's happening, people. People are now starting to realize, because of BlackRock, ETF, Fidelity, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest, and all the others, Franklin Templeton, all of them, they're starting to realize that something is happening. Okay, so let's just assume that they happen. Okay, if that weren't enough, you've got China embraces Bitcoin. You've got Hong Kong says it's ready to accept spot crypto ETF applications. Obviously, China says the same in crypto, but I've edited that out and put Bitcoin in place because this is a Bitcoin show. But, it says China shocks the world with a crypto Bitcoin U-turn amidst a 1.6 trillion surge in Bitcoin and those other things I won't name. China quietly declares its renewed commitment to this industry, and they'll quickly find out they mean Bitcoin. So the whole thing is starting to unfold. So back to this trifecta. Well, number one, we've got these ETFs are closer than they've ever been. Destructive, good to see you in the house. Hank, welcome to you. Rocky Palumbo is with us. Smash the like button, people, don't forget. So number one, the ETFs could very well happen. I'm not saying they're going to, but it looks very likely. Then we've got number two. What is breathing down our neck in, I think, 100-ish days, maybe just under. I can't remember. I haven't looked at the clock today. We've got a halving. We've got a halving. And if that weren't bad enough, we're going into a halving with the supply on exchanges lower than it's ever been. So the amount of Bitcoin is going to be cut in half from 900 a day to 450 a day. And then there's going to be none on exchanges when those people want to go and buy that Bitcoin. So all of a sudden, instead of worrying about a supply crunch, what about a demand crunch or a demand shock? So you got, number one, ETFs. 6.5 years of waiting to hear them say, yep, they're going to be approved. Not that I wanted one. I firmly believe that Bitcoin will continue its march with or without ETFs. The ETFs is just going to speed it up and make it easier for institutions and big companies and people to get hold of Bitcoin, be it, an ETF and not holding spot Bitcoin. And I would encourage anyone, if you're on this show listening to me, buy and hold your Bitcoin yourself, because otherwise they're going to control it, not you. And think about this for a moment. If you buy a Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock, if you want to sell it at any time and turn it into spot Bitcoin, you're going to have to pay your capital gains tax. And then you're going to have to get some Bitcoin. So why bother with an ETF? Buy it, learn how to self-custody it. And I'm telling you, you will not go far wrong. Okay, so we have the ETFs. We have the halving that is coming up. Okay, all of a sudden, we're going to go from 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes to 3.125 every 10 minutes. What else have we got coming up? Without a doubt, from what I've learned from financial people like James Lavish, Greg Foss, Preston Pish, all the people I follow that talk finance, which, by the way, really hurts my head. I'm a former truck driver, but it hurts my head. But I try to learn. From what I've learned, they're going to have to U-turn and then turn the money printer on at some point in 2024, maybe the summer, maybe your fall, autumn, we call it here, and they're going to turn that on. So that's number 3 of the trifecta. But there is something else going on, isn't there? You guys in the US are going to have an election. And believe me, I believe all these candidates are going to understand the power of pulling in their voters by being pro-Bitcoin, even if they don't follow through and don't trust politicians because they're lying, whatever. But even if they don't follow through, they're going to want to get elected because they know this crypto industry, I'm referring to Bitcoin being a maxi, is coming for them. They can't stop it. And I think we're at a point where at some point they're going to have to say, if we can't beat them, let's join them. And if they want to get that presidency, they're going to have to be pro Bitcoin, or they might use the word crypto. I don't know. But you've got to keep in mind, you've got 4 things, if you include the election, all converging on each other in 2024. And if you don't believe that will drive Bitcoin's price in an upward direction, then you clearly have not done your research. I have spent hundreds and thousands of hours watching YouTube videos and people that I'm not going to say I trust, don't trust, verify, but the people that I trust that are giving pure Bitcoin signal, discussing the fors and againsts of everything we've just talked about. Okay. And for me, I believe that the trifecta is going to happen. I don't know if you call it a quadfecta. I don't know, with 4 things all converging at once. But oh my Lord, I think, I don't want to beat the British hodl drum, but I think that window is closing to be able to buy 2,353 sats for $1, as you can right now today on December the 28th, 2023. Even if the supply shock, the price doubles from 42.5, just under 42.5 to say 85, all of a sudden, instead of 2,300 sats, you're going to get 1,000, let's call it 1,200 sats, or half the sats. Now, the sats are still worth having over the long term, but you're going to get double your sats for your money today than you're going to be once an ETF gets approved. Now, there's talk that it's going to go up. There could be a, the buy the rumor, sell the news event. So there could be a correction the other side. Yeah, there might be. But here's a thing. Here's a thought for you. When you buy Bitcoin, you should be buying it for at least a 10-year term or more. And if there's a way to buy it and keep it forever for your descendants and leverage against it safely and earn yield to help you live and have a great life without touching your principal, you should be also investigating that as well. There's nothing out there right now that is safe and secure, but I'm certainly all over keeping an eye open for it. Because if I have my way, I'm not going to sell a single Satoshi of the Bitcoins that we bought. Now, talking of holding it for 10 years, we've been holding for 6.5 years. And on, hang on, I've got to get this right, just under half of our holdings, we are 20x our investment. 6.5 years, 20x. Now, if you don't believe that can't do that again in maybe 4.5, 6.5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20x your money, again, you're not doing enough research. You're not studying Bitcoin enough, in my opinion. So this trifecta is happening right before our eyes, people. And I'm telling you, that window for the regular person to get and own one Bitcoin is rapidly closing, and you should make it an absolute priority to get to one Bitcoin if at all possible. Okay, so I found this on LinkedIn from Andrew Howard. Here's what the co-founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, says about Bitcoin. A co-founder of LinkedIn. I don't check the price every day. It's more a question of a 3 to 5 year horizon, not a daily horizon. Saylor says it, doesn't he? He says you shouldn't be looking at this thing monthly or even yearly, maybe every 5 years, every 10 years. Buy it, put it away, and get on with your life. And that's all I've ever said on my show. Buy it, hold it, get on with, and enjoy your life is all you should be focusing on. He says Bitcoin has the potential to be a massively disruptive technology. We've known this for years and years and years, and they're just saying it, but we're ahead of the curve. And if that's you, and you've been in before the likes of the co-founder of LinkedIn and others, way to go. Give yourself a pat on the back for buying and holding Bitcoin. It is the leading digital currency and it's growing fast. You don't say. I always find it funny seeing people denounce Bitcoin on this platform when the co-founder himself is a firm believer in Bitcoin. It's true, isn't it? You know, I always say, you know, those that get in first and get in hard make fortunes, but they've got to put up with all the negativity and the rolled eyes and the sniggering behind their back. And I've been through all of that with really close family as well. And do you know what? I don't care. I absolutely don't care. In the UK, we say it washes off me like water off a duck's back. I think in America, you might throw salt over your shoulder or something. I don't know what it is, but, you know, I don't care. I absolutely don't care because I live by the sword. I die by the sword. I live by my decisions and die by my decisions. I said this, go back to any video I've ever done. And I've always said I will moon with Bitcoin or I'll go to the bottom of the ocean with Bitcoin. But there is no middle ground for me. And I want you to be the same because this is the hardest, soundest asset humanity has ever known. There's only 21 million of them. Over 19.5 million are already out there. 3 or 4 million are lost forever. Coins gone, hard drives thrown away. Just think when Bitcoin becomes the unit of account for the world. And it ain't too far out in terms of decades. I probably won't see that, but some of you watching this that are younger most definitely will. Think of that and listen to the video at the end when he talks about, you know, cent Bitcoin, cent sat parity. So wait for that. Okay, Dan Held. Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas says SEC is ready to approve spot ETFs if applicants do cash creates and have signed agreements from authorized participants. ETF approval is 90% by January the 10th. That's step one of the trifecta or the quadfecta, whatever you want to call it, people. 90%. It's coming. And I watched a video this morning, a YouTube video this morning, where they were discussing the fact that the SEC have now said to anyone filing for an S1, I believe it is, you call it out there, if you've not got all your ducks in a row by the 29th, don't apply for an ETF. We've got too much to do. You ain't going to get it, which tells me they're frantically trying to dot the I's and cross the T's to get this thing launched by maybe January the 10th. I don't know. Now, here's a little bit of a legend. This is a tweet from Bitcoin Ascent. Sorry, Rocky, I know you don't want me to say this, but to me, the awesome Rocky Palumbo, who's in our chat, is an absolute legend. Rocky Palumbo was the go-to individual when I joined for people that had lost their coins, sent them to the wrong address, to claim airdrops and forks and everything else. So to me, Rocky will always be a legend. He tweeted, the people who bought 100 Bitcoin at $1 each, then sold at $10 each, were so proud of themselves. And rightly so, they 10x their money. But they will never own 100 Bitcoin ever again. Just think about that. When you sell your Bitcoin, if you sell it for a 5x or a 10x and you got a grin on your face, just imagine where this thing is going as the next 1 or 2 decades roll out. Absolutely millions and millions per Bitcoin. So do not, rocket, Barry, he who dies with the most Bitcoin wins. Love it, Barry. Absolutely love it. But enjoy a little bit of it or leverage against it while we're still here. Okay, I love this one. I think it was on a Reddit thread or something, but I'm going to read this to you. Sold all of my BTC. We are in 2023, yet still I don't see the light for a bull run. There's no guarantee there might be one even in 2024. And if it should, I highly doubt it will reach the previous all-time high or even half of it. Sold. I might buy back at 12k though, maybe even 8k, which shouldn't be long from now. Good luck. Edit. This is my way to DCA. I'll be in a lesser loss if I buy when it goes lower. Second edit. Some cultists in the comments didn't seem to read past the title header. I'm saying the price will go lower, 99% chance, and buying then will result in me having more Bitcoin than now. Do not make that mistake, people. Do not listen to people that come out with that BS. Because, well, do your own research. Don't even listen to me. Learn why these people are wrong. Absolute madness. And that is public knowledge now for whoever that individual is. Then I love this one. The story of Michael Saylor, how he got orange pilled, is hilarious. Eric Weiss had been badgering Saylor for years on Bitcoin before he became the dominant buyer he is today. Saylor was openly against Bitcoin, even tweeting in 2013, Bitcoin's days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling. It wasn't until the 2020 lockdowns that Saylor decided to put in the work and learn more about Bitcoin. Like any rational person who does their own research, after studying Bitcoin for many hours, he became convinced of its value to the world. He called up Eric when the price was around 10,000. Hey, I bought 10k, Eric. This surprised Eric. Mike, that's not really very much. You only bought one coin? Saylor, no, I bought 10,000 of them. And he's been buying ever since, and he's still not letting up, people. He's just bought another 14,620 Bitcoin just a couple of days ago for 615.7 million at an average price of 42,110 per Bitcoin. So as of the 26th of December 2023, MicroStrategy now holds 189,150 Bitcoin acquired for 5.9 billion at an average price of 31,168 per coin. So everyone was slamming them. They're going to get margin called. Michael Saylor is being reckless, irresponsible to his shareholders. Who is having the last laugh now? And you know something? I am convinced his goal is to get to 210,000 Bitcoins so he can say he owns 1% of the entire Bitcoin supply actually in existence when 21 million are out there. But of course, what about the 4 million that are lost? So he probably already owns 1% right now. But this is absolutely epic, people. It really is. And if you don't get all of this, the trifecta, all those 4 things converging at one go, you're probably never going to get it. You're going to need to jump down the rabbit hole now and very, very quickly and learn as fast as you can as to what is going on here. On to my video. I recently saw Corey Clipston, CEO of Swan Bitcoin, being interviewed by Laura Shin from Unchained. And it was only a short video, but I took about 3 minutes out of it. And rather than me spoil it for you, have a listen to what Corey Clipston says. And there's even a little Gabe Hire, there's even a little bit in there about do not sell your Bitcoin. Listen up.
Look, it's going to be big, and there are pros and cons to it. obviously you've got a bunch of Bitcoin going into third-party custody, and kind of U.S. government kind of having a little bit more control over that pile is what it is. But at the end of the day, if you want to have Bitcoin and you want to use it privately and you want to have it in self-custody, you can, and that's still the law of the land, and it's still going to be the law in many jurisdictions around the world, regardless of what the US does. So it's definitely not an existential threat for Bitcoin, and it is a massive pro for price development. Yes, I expect this to usher in a ton of capital flowing into Bitcoin. I expect Super Bowl ads. I expect NBA playoffs to be papered every golf tournament next year.
Let me just stop it there. Can you imagine Super Bowl ads? This is what FTX did. It was absolutely everywhere. And I'm not interested in any of that. But the point is, you are going to see Bitcoin absolutely everywhere because the marketing campaigns that are going to get underway from the likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, and all the others, you are going to see this thing absolutely everywhere, people. And people are going to be calling you saying, whoa, what is going on with this Bitcoin thing? Teach me all about it. Seriously, that is coming.
It's going to be advertising Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, it's going to be a massive land grab for these guys because, as you know, like when you want to trade NASDAQ, it's the queues. Most of the liquidity is in one ticker, right? And the spreads are tightest with the one ticker. And that's just how it goes. So they're going to really, really try to battle it out as much as they can and try to get as much of this market share. And it'll probably end up being, 70% to one of those tickers and 20% to the second, and everybody else will split the last 10 is usually how it works with these category ETFs. So yeah, they're going to go nuts next year trying to win that. I just want to say, like, don't trade this. Like, buy Bitcoin that you're going to hold for 10 years. There will be a vicious pullback. At some point, there will be what feels like a crash in 2024.
And you should always be prepared for that, even if it doesn't happen. Get your psyche in a place that there could be a wick down. But, it will recover and go off to the races again, people.
As there always is. It'll pull back like at least 40% on the way up to wherever it's going. Mark my words, there will be at least a 40% drop in the Bitcoin price at some point, because there always is. And so if you don't understand Bitcoin, like anything, buy what you know. You should invest a lot of your time and effort trying to understand Bitcoin so that you have the conviction to hold for the 5 or 10 years that you're going to need to make it worth
Here we are again.
All of the pain of the volatility along the way. And your family calling you an idiot when it's down 70, 80% after the next crash, whatever it is, like, be prepared to steel yourself to weather the storm, Yeah, I mean, and all I can say here is, like, I will stick to my long-term target that I've been giving since 2020. In $20, $1 million a coin by 2030. And everything else is just a guess, but, like, I'll stick to that. And I don't know what that's going to be in nominal terms by then. It'll have to be at least 1.3 or 1.4, accounting for inflation over the course of the decade. But yes, in $20, my 2030 prediction is $1 million a coin, or sat cent parity.
Or sat cent parity. People, I want you to just think about this. This show's going long. I do apologize. We're not far off, but forgive me. I like to get it done 30, 35 minutes, but hopefully you think it's worth it. The last show of 2023. Let's go out with a bang. Just think about this, people. I want to say this. In 2014, I married my beautiful wife. And I remember saying to her, we need to really enjoy this because we'll blink and we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary. That is next year. And I just don't know where that 9 years just over has gone. It's gone by in a heartbeat. We are only 7 years from 2030, which is less time than I've been married to my lovely wife. So it's going to come awfully quickly. And do you want to sell your Bitcoin at 200 grand, at $250,000, at $500,000, when just by being patient, you could end up seeing $1 million or more a coin? Some people are saying it's going to be way more than that. Again, no price predictions here. You're not going to get them. I'm simply saying, as Corey said, he said don't trade, but I'm saying don't sell your Bitcoin, hang on to it. So very, very quickly, if I may, I just wanted to give a shout out to my brand new show sponsors from this year that I'm looking to for a long, healthy relationship with. They're called the Best of Exmoor. If you are looking for holidays in the UK, in the southwest of the UK in Exmoor National Park, it is well worth checking them out, people. You can use this QR code. Chris, who runs this, is a Bitcoiner. He's a hodler like myself. He's a Bitcoin maxi like myself and you guys. So do check this out because you can buy a day, 1 night, 2 nights, a month, whatever you want, whatever's available. You can check out the 200 properties that he's got on this website by scanning the QR code, paying Bitcoin, pay in crappy fiat, use my discount code to get a discount. There is so much on this site, whether you want sea view cottages, cottages that take pets, farm cottages, countryside. There's one on there, I think, that sleeps, 21 people. So at the very, very least, people, at least check this out, because I'm glad I connected with Chris because he is a Bitcoiner. And I love what BTC Sessions said. We need to build our Bitcoin economies and connect with people that might sell us meat for Bitcoin, might give us a holiday for Bitcoin, might fix our car for Bitcoin, might cut our hair, he says, for Bitcoin. But, we need to learn and connect with these people because none of us know what the future may hold, and the totalitarianism and tyranny may be so bad that we have to interact with Bitcoiners to buy and sell goods and services, because they've cut us off from, the normal financial system, or we don't want to be in the normal financial system. So again, quickly check it out. There it is, the Best of Exmoor, and at least give it a thumbs up. I think he's got some fantastic holiday destinations on there. I really do. Okay, my quote of the day as we wrap the show. I love this one from Mark Kane. The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be a captive of the environment in which you first find yourself. Don't be a captive of the crappy fiat environment, the environment of let us government take care of you. We'll protect you and make sure that you got everything you want. You won't need to go anywhere. You won't own anything, but we'll ensure you are happy. Don't buy into it, people. Stack Bitcoin. Tell others about Bitcoin. And if you're not telling others about Bitcoin, you either don't believe it or you're too frightened of what their response might be. I go everywhere. When I go out, I'm totally prepared to talk to somebody about Bitcoin. You can ask my lovely wife in the chat. Wherever I go, I want to try and get somebody over the bridge, if you will, to the other side. And I love doing that. It's my life's mission. If you want to support my mission, and you don't have to, there are 4 Sats addresses. There's a buy me a cup of coffee with crappy fiat address from anywhere in the world. You don't have to. I haven't monetized the show. I don't do it for financial gain. I will say one thing. There is less than half of you in the show that have hit the like button. There's nearly 50 viewers and 28 likes. Come on, guys. If you want your number go up, you need to help me to get more eyeballs to find this show. You really, really do. But that is it for 2023. I will catch you all next year. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Again, there won't be a show Monday. It's New Year's Day. But I will be back next Thursday with my first show of 2024. So come and join me. As always, it will be bullish Bitcoin content in some form or another. But for the rest of the Christmas period, I'm going to spend that time with my lovely wife. I am looking forward to celebrating the new year. I am massively excited about what 2024 offers. Remember that word, the Bitcoin Trifecta for 2024. I can't wait. So from myself and my lovely wife, Elaine, who got me this lovely new t-shirt to be wearing next year, I want to wish each and every one of you an incredible new year, whatever you're doing. Be safe. Don't drink and drive and all the rest of it. Please retweet this. Please share it out. Please help me to get more eyeballs on this. You can do that by sharing it, tweeting it, making sure you subscribed if you haven't already, liking it now, please. There's still way more viewers than there are likes. If you're on the podcast, share me where you're listening. Go into the comments after the show has ended, refresh your browser and leave me a comment, because that also screws with the YouTube algorithm and keeps my video current for longer. The bull market's going to really kick in, and I want hundreds and thousands of people to find my channel so they don't go down the crap coin route, lose all their family's hard-earned life savings if that's the case, and we can hopefully get them into Bitcoin before they make that grave mistake. But that is it. Thanks for your support in 2023, everyone. Honestly, you don't know how I value each and every one of you. I know some of you get cheesed off when I go in and I want to give everyone in the show a shout out, because I do. MW used to be. Good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. I want to bring my viewers into my live chat to be part of the show, and that is why I like to give you all a shout out. Now, clearly, if the numbers grow, I'm not going to be able to continue that because the chat will just go wild. But right now, with just under 50 live viewers, I can still make that happen. So come and join us regularly every Monday, every Thursday. I'll give you as much bullish Bitcoin inspiration as I can. I'm relabeling myself, rebranding myself for 24. I am the Bitcoin boss, and I'm bossing it in 2024. Come and join me next Thursday, peeps. Happy New Year to you all. I'm Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master. I'm going to leave you with my social media links, as I always do. Go and follow me somewhere else on social media, and I'll catch you all in a week's time. Once again, thanks to each and every one of you for your ongoing support.